Hi, welcome to Vimanan. Classification of airspace. The sky is divided into different zones using category of airspace class, defined by both geographical boundaries and altitude levels. The International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, provides standardized airspace classifications that most countries follow. The classification dictates the level of control and services provided to aircraft operating within that airspace. There are two types of airspace, controlled and uncontrolled, and there are 7 classes of airspace named as Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, Class E, Class F, and Class G. Class A to E are controlled airspace, while Class F and G are uncontrolled airspace. The table here provides an overview of the airspace classes and the specifications for each airspace. Let us have a brief about various classes of airspace. Class A is a controlled airspace, where only IFR flights are permitted. In Class A, airspace ATC clearance is required to operate a flight, and separation is provided to all operating flights. No traffic information is provided in Class A airspace. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class A airspace. Class B is controlled airspace, where both IFR and VFR flights are permitted. In Class B airspace, ATC clearance is required to operate a flight, and separation is provided to all operating flights. No traffic information is provided in Class B airspace. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class B airspace. Class C is controlled airspace, where both IFR and VFR flights are permitted. In Class C airspace, ATC clearance is required to operate a flight. While in this airspace, IFR flights are separated from other IFR flights and from VFR flights. VFR flights are separated from IFR flights and receive traffic information in respect of other VFR flights. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class C airspace. Class D is controlled airspace, where both IFR and VFR flights are permitted. In Class D airspace, ATC clearance is required to operate a flight. While in this airspace, IFR flights are separated from other IFR flights and special VFR flights and receive traffic information in respect of VFR flights. VFR flights receive traffic information in respect of all other flights. Here, special VFR flight is a VFR flight which is allowed to operate in controlled airspace when weather condition is below standard VFR minima. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class D airspace. Airspace in terminal areas, control zones, and aerodrome traffic zones have been classified and designated as Class D airspace. Class E is also a controlled airspace where both IFR and VFR flights are permitted. In Class E airspace, ATC clearance is required for IFR flights. In Class E airspace, IFR are separated from other IFR flights. IFR flights receive traffic information in respect of VFR flights, and VFR flights receive traffic information in respect of all other flights, as far as is practical. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class E airspace only for IFR flight. Class F airspace is advisory airspace, in which IFR and VFR flights are permitted. Here, all IFR flights receive air traffic advisory service, and all flights receive flight information service, if requested. Airspace in designated ATS route segments outside terminal areas, and control zones, where air traffic advisory service is provided, have been classified and designated as Class F airspace. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class F airspace only for IFR flight. In Class G airspace, IFR and VFR flights are permitted and receive flight information service if requested. Airspace other than those in Class D, E, and F have been classified and designated as Class G airspace. Continuous two-way communication is required in Class G airspace only for IFR flight. If we talk about Indian airspace, implementation of Class A and Class B airspace in India, airspace is under consideration.